El Ministerio Avivando el Alma presenta un sueño, un destino.
Atrévete a agarrar tu
Lo
sueño.
puedes lograr.
Rompe las cadenas. Padre, tú eres el gran yo soy. Soy siervo de Jehová. Yo me voy a atrever a soñar.
God bless you and welcome to your program, Reviving the Soul Ministries. It's been a blessing to just be here every day, being a blessing to your life. And today we have something very, very special for you. I believe that God is going to do something amazing in your life. So I'm going to just ask you, do me a favor and get on the phone right now and call your friend, call your neighbor, call somebody right now and tell them you need to tune into Channel 21. You need to get onto your internet and visioncelestial.tv and click where it says live television, televisión en vivo. You just need to do it because I believe the man of God that we got here today is going to be a blessing to your life. You know, he's not an evangelist. He's not a pastor of a certain church. I believe he's bringing the gospel in the way that he brings it in the time that needs to be brought. I believe without a shadow of a doubt in my heart as a youth pastor that this is the time and this is the moment where we need to really aim at the enemy and win back those lost souls that he has been taking in the 80s and the 90s and this year 2000. And it's about that time that we come with the new wine and bring back what the enemy has stolen from us. And well, the man of God that I have here with me, you know, we know him as Albert. A lot of y'all probably know him as Bad Boy. And I want to just thank you very much, Albert, for taking the time to, first of all, for being here, you know, on my show. You know, it's a blessing. All I've heard is nothing but good stuff about your ministry, about your rapping and everything that you're doing, not just necessarily for churches, but for the community of Houston. Mm-hmm. I hear that you, through the companies that God has placed in your hands, you know, you do so much outreaches, you do things for missions and whatnot, you know, and you know, right away, you know, and I'm going to be upfront. I'm a person that's very upfront. You know, when anybody will just probably see you, you know, with the Astro hat tilted a little bit to the side, you know, little, sharp pants on, whatnot. And they're gonna just judge right away. You're like, oh, you know, este mueve a un lado, este no es de Cristo. You know, this guy, he's not from Jesus. Move him to the side. In fact, I wouldn't know if you've been to a church where they want to lay hands on you and pray for you. But you know, our people, you know, we have to see that tie. We have to see that suit. We have to see a big old, you know, 12-inch Bible on the side, and we have to. And I believe the generation today is a generation that is dying because we haven't really stepped up and said, you know what, guys, you could love Jesus, you know, you could hear rap, you could do this, and still, you know, have a great communication with God. And Albert, I mean, how is your life, man? I don't know where to start, man.
Well, I mean, from just, you know, touching on some of the things that you said, you know, growing up, you know, life is like that or whatever. You know, people place labels on people and things like that. You know, what I've learned is, you know, to keep it real with God. You know, keep it real with everybody, but number one, keep it real with God. You know, you can't judge a book by its cover. And in these last days, you know, Satan is pulling out all the stops. He's doing everything that he can to bring things. He brings things in pretty packages and all kind of things. But what we got to understand, the way that a wolf comes in sheep clothing, you know, the same way that you know, the Lord is doing it. And God is greater than anything. And I believe, you know, that you know, the way that he's using me. For instance, you know, if I went up to some gangbangers or drug dealers or people, you know, I lived that life. I've done that stuff and got changed and turned it around. That if I did come up with a Bible and a suit and a tie, they're gonna laugh at me. They might jump me or something. Don't tell them what might happen, but they take it very real because they know that I've lived that lifestyle and everything comes together for the good. You know, God always takes that and uses it for his purpose and for his glory.
I know, for example, I mean, I came out of that life too, you know, a drug abuse life, you know, an abandonment of life. I know when I was back there and you coming in a suit and tie talking to me, first thing I'm going to tell you is, what do you know about my life, man? Exactly. What do you know about that? But if you turn around coming to me with this well, hey, wait a minute, this guy has been through what I'm going through. He's been there, done that. And I gotta put an ear on this guy. I gotta see how he got out of that. And to be honest with you, Albert, somebody like you is what helped me, become a Christian. And now today, thank God, 10 years later, I'm preaching throughout television, traveling around the world, doing things because honestly, hey, thug Christian, if you want to call it that, if you want to put a title on it, look at these thug Christians, they did something that, hey, a lot of church folks ain't doing, man. They did something a lot of, I know for a fact if I go to my church, I'm like, how many brothers and sisters want to go to the ghetto and go preach the gospel? They'll be like, whatever, But yeah, we got people like you doing it all the time, man. Can you talk to me a little bit about, before we get into your album, a little bit about what do you do for the community, man?
Oh man, we've done so many different things. We participate in different outreaches, visit different churches, orphanages, anywhere basically that we're needed. A lot of people know of our organizations, of the record label Perseverance Records, of myself on a one-on-one name basis, as Albert Garcia or Bad Boy Al, and like I said, wherever we can help out, wherever God sends us, that's basically, we don't have one specific area. We've ministered, street ministry, and we basically go, like you said, to the places where a lot of these pastors that are on TV all the time and doing all these things whatever would never ever think about going out there and stepping and talking to prostitutes and crack addicts and people with diseases and different things, that somebody has to reach these people. We can put on a show and be religious and play church and do all these things, but the fact of the matter is the Lord came and he said, what, that he didn't come for the people that were in good health. He came for the people that were sick and that needed him. And that's where my heart goes out to, because I used to be one of those people that was lost. And in different ways, every man has his own struggles and battles, but I believe that, showing that love, another thing, God said that, the biggest commandment, one of the greatest commandments besides, love your Lord, with all your mind, body, heart, soul, all that you are, is to love one another. But how can we do that when, for instance, I remember I had went into a church one time, and I dress in different ways. I dress in a matters that I'm comfortable, respectful, and I respect the church. But I remember one time that I did come into a church with a baseball cap, and my pants, just starched up, and that's things that people might put something on. Sometimes I'll be in a suit or different things. Sometimes I like to be comfortable. And this particular night, I went into this church, and the pastors, before I even hit the door, were on me. I mean, I went with another brother that invited me to a church, and he knew my ministry and he knew what I did, and he wanted to take me here and show these people before they even knew who I was or anything. They just started on me. I mean, they started telling me, hey, why are you bringing this guy in here, this and that. And I told him, I said, I have a question for you to ask the pastor. I said, good thing that I do know the Lord and everything. I said, but if I would have been lost and I would have came off the street and I come in here and they're telling me all these things, it would discourage me. I would say that, what, that's why. I said, God said, come as you are. I'm coming to worship. I might not, say I couldn't afford a suit. This is the only clothes that somebody might have gave me. And I'm coming into this place to come worship God and see who this Jesus is that everybody's talking about. And then they're gonna down me and tell me, what, you can't come in here like this, or you can't. And that's the thing that I don't like. That's the thing that, if a homeless person or somebody tries to come into a church because they might have urinated on them, so they might have smelled. Is somebody going to show that love and say, what, brother, I have honestly, given the shoes off my own feet, the shirt off my own back, literally. I mean, I've taken off my shirt and, done things like this, that somebody said, a homeless man said, man, you got some nice shoes. Well, brother, you know what? Here you go. God bless me with this, and I got 10 pairs at home in my closet. You can have these, and that's what it's really about. That's what a Christian really is, and that's what our organization does.
I believe you're hitting it right on the dot, man. I mean, I remember I say this sometimes whenever I'm ministering, man. There was this particular guy that walked to this church, man, and he was dressed all thrown out, man. He had these nasty looking overalls, stunk a little bit, sat in the very back, and other people, turned around and they were bugged by it. And afterwards, they go and talk to the pastor and say, you know what? We didn't talk to this guy. We don't know who he is, but hey, you need to start dressing a little bit. This is a house of God, man. We got to respect God. And pastor goes and he's like, hey, brother, did you like church? He goes, well, I love church a lot, brother. And it was awesome. The message was great. He goes, do me a favor, when you go home, pray and ask God how you should come to dress to church. You know, take a shower. You know,